Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everybody.
And we're here for Start Your Day. And it's Monday, and I hope it's a sunny Monday wherever you are in the world, whether it be morning, noon, or night. But it's lovely if you're going to join us today. And I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Chris Jacobs. Morning, Chris. How are you doing?
Good morning, Karen. And I'm here with the wonderful and beautiful Karen Woods here. So I'm doing fine. You too?
Yeah, just sort of getting over a busy weekend because, as a lot of the viewers know, I met up with the lovely Nick Brown and we did our demonstration at Little Port Village Hall on Saturday night. Unfortunately, it couldn't be streamed because the hall is going through some technical issues and there wasn't any internet, so we couldn't stream it, which was a bit of a shame. But it was, do you know what? It was great to meet Nick in person. After just seeing him in a little box. You and I have met personally, but I'd never met Nick before. So it was just really lovely to give him a big hug, meet lovely Linda and Eunice and Tony and some of the other people that helped Nick run Little Port Church. So it was just a good night. And then
Okay.
yesterday, I was doing an online service in the evening. So it was a busy weekend. So what have you been up to?
Teaching, readings, and trying to fit in a bit of gardening in between to pick up all
Yeah.
the beautiful leaves that we have from a massive oak tree we have in the garden. So
Wow.
so it's
Mm.
trying to get all of that done. So are your ears still ringing after being next to Nick?
Oh, it was just great. It was great. And he looked so smart. He had a lovely suit on and a pink shirt and tie, and he looked great, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, you scrub up well." But yeah, it was great. Oh, morning, Linda.
Good
Yes, it was
morning,
a
Linda.
fantastic it was a fantastic evening. So
It
it
is.
was just really, really nice. And the hall's lovely as well, because you've been there too, haven't you? You've been to the
Yes, I've
hall.
been a few times, and it's always a very welcoming place, and especially the tea and cakes afterwards.
Oh yes, it was. It was fantastic. So do you know what you're saying about the gardening? It's interesting because this time of year everything changes, doesn't it? We get those beautiful autumn colours, which I absolutely love because I'm a bit of an autumn girl. So I think it's really sort of nice to see the changes in things.
It is.
So
Good morning,
yeah.
Patricia. It
More.
also depends on the weather because sometimes it needs a cold spurt to bring on those colours. So the colours this year, there are a few, but they're not quite as bright and vivid as I've seen them in other years. We have aces, and they're not quite as bright as what they would normally be.
Mm, mm,
So
yeah.
it rather
Yeah.
depends on the year as well.
Yes, it does. It does. So let's say a few hellos to everybody to see what everybody's been up to this weekend or what they're doing now. So it's so nice to be back, and I don't know, this really sort of sets me off for the week, being with you and being with Richard, of course, and doing the show and just engaging with everybody because I think that's really, really important.
It
So
is,
it
and
is
especially
nice.
when we see everybody from around the world. And
Yeah.
Nicola, good morning. Nice to have you with us. And yeah, it's so lovely to see that, you know what? People actually listen to us, which is brilliant.
Well, that's
Just
nice. That
rambling
is
on.
nice.
Good morning. Good
Absolutely.
morning, Kelly,
Morning,
again.
morning, Kelly. Nice. It's a good day, even. Yes,
Good
it's nice to
day.
have you
Yeah.
with us. Good day. Um, our
Oh,
morning,
and
Judith
Judith.
from Scotland. How nice. How nice.
I bet it's a bit chilly there. Good morning, Karen, as well.
Yes, it's normally a little bit chilly in Scotland, isn't it? And morning, Kimberly. She's saying hello from Portsmouth.
And oh, good evening, Karen and Chris, Richard from Sam B. So I'm taking it you're in another country.
Do you know, it fascinates me. We get good mornings. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
oh, hello, Jan. Lovely to have you with us. And Jan is my friend from Slovakia.
Oh, lovely. Sunny and crisp autumn. That's lovely. But your picture looks very snowy.
It does. It does.
Uh, and the lovely
Oh,
Eunice has joined us as well.
morning, Eunice. It was great to meet you. Yes, absolutely. And morning to your lovely dog too. Oscar was very taken with Eunice because Oscar joined us as well. So
Right.
he got lots of fuss from everybody. He loved being in Littleport.
Oh, oh, it's a bit damp and dreech. I've never heard that
Ah,
expression.
it's yeah, I think I was chatting to Clara this morning and she said it's turned cold. She was going to put the heating on. So Scotland's a bit
Yeah.
chilly at the minute.
Well, we've had to
So
put the log burner on a couple of evenings
yeah, we
here
have
as
too.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have.
so Lee Stokes, my
Hello.
friend Lee. Nice
Oh,
to see you,
hello, Lee.
mate.
Oh, he's
Um,
currently at work.
okay, yeah, lovely Lee and his fiancée Danny as well. I know them both.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, look, and you know what's lovely? Everybody sort of says hello to each other, so which is really
That
good.
is beautiful.
It
And
is nice.
Cheryl,
It's nice.
oh, from Adelaide in the beautiful Australia.
Yeah,
So lovely. I bet it's not cold there.
absolutely. Good morning, Tonya. Nice to see you. I think they're going into their summer soon. Um, how good is pizza in the air fryer? Just thought I'd share. Yeah, I've done that, Kelly. I agree.
Oh,
I
does it
do
not
a mix.
make it hard?
No, no, no.
I know I
The
like
air fryers.
sausages. I like sausages in the air fryer. They're
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. The air fryer's fantastic. I love my air fryer. I use it a lot.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
good.
we use it a bit as well. So there you are. We're getting cook. This show shows you how it shows how this show is so versatile. We're even getting cooking tips now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Richard's into cooking. And you love cooking too, don't you, Chris?
I
So
used to be a chef. I don't love it, but I do it.
that's quite stressful, isn't it? Being a chef, I would
Oh,
imagine, you know.
I did it
Yeah.
for many, many years. It's hard work, very stressful, and let's just say I've seen many tempers flare.
Oh yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. Good morning, Conisha. Lovely to have you with us.
Yeah. Oh, where are you from? Dreech, a Scottish slang for a dull, gloomy, dreary day. Thank you, Judith, for clearing that up. Oh,
Absolutely.
I might use that in future.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? That's a good
It
one. I like
is.
that. Oh,
Latonia,
hello.
hello.
Hello, Latonia. Nice to see you.
Oh, and Trevor's with us again. I like creating salads. In the middle of winter? Well,
Well, do you know what? I can eat salad any time of the year, to be honest with you. I love a salad.
well,
So,
do you know,
morning, Trevor.
I'm going to, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Uh,
Yeah.
as you know, I grow a little bit of salad stuff and whatever. We had a glut of cucumbers, and you know, cucumbers done thin, long slices in the oven. Beautiful. Absolutely. I did them cooked them in the oven and I put them in a
Really?
soup. Beautiful. Absolutely. So
Mm,
you can actually cook your salads. And I know people do lettuce, like fry lettuce, and use
yeah.
it as like a seaweed. So yeah, salad quite good.
Interesting. Oh, so everybody be cooking their cucumbers now. I love it. I love it. Our Conishers from New South Wales in Australia. Lovely. Well,
Oh,
I think the
beautiful.
cucumber and the courgettes are from the same family, aren't they? So we all have sort
Yeah,
of courgettes in ratatouille. Oh, yeah, in
yeah.
ratatouille and what have you. So
Oh,
good
lovely. Chris
morning.
is
Well,
from Bedfordshire. So that's not too far away from where I am. So
no,
really,
no, absolutely. Morning, Chrissy. Lovely to see you. So
yes, it
Wooden
is
Hills, I
lovely.
like that. Oh, Sam, she's got the aircon on.
And it's 7:40 p.m. in the evening.
Oh
Wow.
dear, I don't know. Yes, I had a fantastic time, Chrissy. It was an amazing time at Little Port. I just already said that it was fantastic to meet everybody. So it was a good evening. Thank you for asking.
So
So
Trevor, I think he's agreeing with the cooking of the cucumbers and salads. That's what
right.
nice. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah. Well, you can sort of get a lot of people in. I've been into a few pubs where they do sort of like warm chicken and bacon salad, and sometimes you get sort of like autumn veg that's done in a salad, but sort of done in a roasted
Mhm.
balsamic. That's nice. Tomatoes and done in a
I
roasted
think
balsamic.
I do think we are very in this country. We're sometimes we're getting better, but we've always been a bit adverse to trying new things. We like, the typical. Do you remember the old people always used to like? It used to be the steak pie and a mash and peas, and that was
Mm,
it. You
yeah.
know. But
Well, yeah.
hi, April. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, I think it's more. We're getting more versatile. But that leads me nicely into my little prose I want to put towards you. And it
Oh, okay.
is, as working mediums, do you think we're doing enough?
Ooh. Morning, Natalie. Nice to have you with us. In what
Or
way?
do you think mediumship is doing enough, or has it become too staid?
Uh,
Kendra,
that's a
hello. Good morning to you.
that's a difficult one
It
because it's
is.
because it's a sort of a yes and a sort of a no.
Hmm.
I think mediumship. I think people need to look at mediumship in a different way. I think that people look at it just as the messages, but
Hmm.
mediumship's a bit more than that.
It is.
Um, we've lost that essence of the philosophy side, the speaking mediumship. I think we're looking at the message just from our loved ones, which I can completely understand. But I also think that mediumship in itself is about also the message as a whole from the spirit world within the philosophy. But I also feel we've got to find that mediumship, that essence within us to
Yes.
understand who we are as well. And I think that's why mediumship came about, to realize there's more. There's more within us,
Because
there's more to do with the connections that we have.
what led me to this is looking at it and just, it shows how my mind's like. I'm looking at it and I think here, you know, is it evolving? Is it evolving the way it should? You know, does the recipient, does our viewers, what do they think about it? Does it answer the questions that they have? Do we keep it very narrow? You know, is it becoming more about the fame and the glitter, the bricks and the mortar? Is it all
Mm,
becoming about that? Because for me, it should be very unconstrained. We should allow for more diversity. I'd be quite interested to see what our viewers think about that. Good morning,
mm.
Geraldine. It's nice to have you with us.
So, you know, come back to us, people. Let us know what you think about Chris's question of the day today. You know, is mediumship going the way for you? Do you enjoy working with your mediumship if you're working mediums, or do you enjoy going to receive a message? And that's interesting because again, I was having a conversation last week about the numbers in our churches, and there seem to be going down, but other events seem to be increasing. So
Good morning,
what
April, by the way. Sorry.
yes, good morning, April. So what do we need to do anything there? So
So,
I love
Trevor, knowledge is
Trevor.
knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing it doesn't go well in a fruit
Well, in the
salad.
fruit salad. Do you know what, Trevor? I
Absolutely.
love
I love that analogy. That's brilliant.
that. Trevor, can I pinch that? Because I think that's fantastic. I absolutely love that. I really do. Oh, that's brilliant. Yes, I did know it's a fruit, and I would never put it in a fruit salad. So I think I must be wise.
You think as well, because sometimes I think we constrain our mediumship. We think it should fit this way and fit that way, you
Yeah.
know? And as you said, it's much more than that. It's much more than just getting, Uncle Joe's okay and is all right. He sends his love to you and he loved his gardening. You know, what does that say?
Yeah.
For me, that says nothing, but it should
Right.
say about the way of life, here.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
carry on.
I love what Judith said here. We seem to be evolving food into philosophy here, which I really
Hmm.
like. So changing times, some for the better and some not so. It reminds me of fast food. I like this. At times where there is so much depth in the spiritual realm, diversity is the key. Do you know
And that's
what?
the point I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know what, Judith? I like that because some people need something quick, like a quick fix. Um,
Hmm.
and sometimes people keep going back for that quick fix. But then something sort of moves within them, and they realize that they've got to sort of move within themselves to understand and to move forward. So I think someone once said to me that mediumship, the message part, is the hook that gets people in the church or on the seat at a demonstration. But what happens after that within the individual, does it awaken something within them? Does it tempt their appetite to look for something else, to try more recipes, if you like, within spirituality?
You see, I'm going to just, sorry if I'm going to be controversial to your little statement there. The mediumship is the hook, but it's not about getting them in a place of worship or a place of, you know, religion. It's about looking at your life. It's the hook to look at your life, to understand that, you don't die and how liberating that can be. That your consciousness goes on and look at how we can evolve the way we look at our life, the way we live our life, the way we act or interact with people. It should be the hook at trying to change our perception of this life that we're fed to, spoon fed from birth, that it doesn't need to be this constrained.
Absolutely. But as Judith said, planting the seed, and the
Absolutely.
churches and demonstrations do that.
Hmm.
You need to go, you need to go into somewhere or to talk to someone about, you know, about spiritualism or about mediumship. Now, for argument's sake, I was sitting in the hairdressers a few years ago, and I was having my hair done, and there's a hairdresser and a client sitting there, and they're sort of like, they were talking about going to see a public demonstration in a theatre that week. And the hairdresser was going on about, oh, it was wonderful. Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. It blew me away. Never seen anything like it before. So I'm sitting there smiling away because I didn't say anything. I was just listening to the conversation. And she said, oh, I'm definitely going to explore this, because she went to a public demonstration, because it ignited the spark. So because she went there, saw a demonstration, then she wanted to move it forward. And then of course my friend who's my hairdresser, she's also a medium, and she used to come to my circle. So then when they were talking about it, we joined in the conversation. I spoke about the local church which was in the area, and we started a group conversation about mediumship and about spiritualism. So it evolved even from that comment. And that's where it starts. And you know yourself, Chris, you start wanting to learn more because you open up that
Yeah.
door and you start. So it has to start somewhere, from somebody going and exploring a place where a demonstration or a group of people coming together to talk about it
Well, that's
as
it.
well.
That's what I'm trying. This is the point I'm trying to make, trying to get. It shouldn't be just a place where we go and see a medium, where we pick and choose which medium we want to see, or they're good or they're not good. Because you and I know we've heard comments as we've
Yeah.
left churches, oh, he's no good, or he's, or that. But your church and your centre is about the community. It's
Yes.
about coming together, and it's about where we can have that shared knowledge, that shared experience of
Mm.
how we see the world, of how we see the world of spirit, and how that has touched our life. That can then be shared with those people new to the center or
Yeah,
the church, where they can then make them feel warm and feel welcome. And the message from the medium is just the icing on the cake, you know? So it's like, it should be the community first for me. That
absolutely.
community, that shared knowledge, that shared philosophy, you know?
Mm,
So
mm.
it's wonderful. I'll let you read this one. This is a long one.
I would agree on the quick fix scenario. People only want to hear what they want to accept. If they don't like it, they slander it. We are all here and living every day, but we should be living our best every day. If you are fortunate enough to share your joy with others, if you are wise, share it. If you have abundance, share it. We are being guided, but we must play our part, not simply expect a medium to give us answers to everything in our life. Absolutely,
Well
Geraldine. And
put. Well
well
put.
put. Absolutely agree. Mediumship opens a door, but it opens the door to the essence of you and to make you think, to make you
Hmm.
grow, to make you move forward. And I love a good discussion like we're having now. And it is about community, and community is wonderful in churches, in centres. So I go back to Saturday night. It's the welcome that you get on the door, which is always important, because you don't know, some people, they might think, oh, should I go to this church? Should I not? Should I, what happens? And the welcome that you receive is very, very important. Um, you know, this channel is a light for people. It's a guiding
Yeah.
light. People come on it because they need to hear from loved ones, but they also like the community that's generated. We can tell that by all the hellos and how are yous that go on
The shared
behind the scenes.
experiences. That's what it
Absolutely,
is. Yeah.
absolutely. And when people get together, they do share their experiences. They do pass on that knowledge, and that's how we grow. And it moves further because we always used to have a book table at the church, and there was a library at the back of the church. And you're welcome to sort of buy a book, get one out the library if funds are a little bit tight, and you read that book and you think about it, you take that knowledge and you say, well, I agree with it or I don't agree with it, but it's making you think. And you might go back and have a conversation with somebody. Oh, I read that book. What do you think? And
Hmm.
that's how book clubs are formed. That's how discussion groups are formed. And this is what we need to do more of. So we
Hmm.
start with the inquisitive mind about, is there life after death? Because we don't need 20,000 messages to know that our loved ones live. But what we do know maybe is to understand the complexity of our lives. Why do things happen? Things about the universe, wherever it takes you, where your mind takes you, as was said before, diversity. So you go on a little bit of an exploration with your mind, with your learning, and that's
Yeah.
very important. That's
And
very
that's the
important.
key, diversity. I don't
Yeah,
think, I think we seem to be becoming a little bit more constrained nowadays rather than what it used to be. There used to be a lot of diversity in it, and now it's like we kind of cherry picking what we want.
I think um,
And I think that limits the spirit world.
I don't think the spirit world are limited, Chris. I think that
No, I
they
didn't say they were limited. I said we limit them.
Oh, I see what you mean. So they're limited because of us. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
we limit
Right.
what it is by what we cherry picking what we want and what we need, what we think we need. I always remember the old saying they used to say when I was very, very young, what it is, spirit never give you what you want, but they always give you what you need.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
They
and
do.
I
They
still
do.
subscribe to that.
Yeah, me too. I say it in readings. You might come along to, or people might come along to a reading and think, I want to hear from my dad, or I want to hear from my
Mm,
sister, or anybody. And then all of a sudden, your mum comes through, or your gran comes through, and you think, well, I didn't want to hear from them as such, but what they say is valid and sort of hits the nail on the head with regard to what's going on with family life. So
Yeah,
it's not always about what you want. It is about what you need. But sometimes we just think about the want and not the
it is.
need
You know,
because we mix up the two. That's the
you
problem,
just did
isn't it?
a good thing here. And what I tell people, and I'm telling you now, the dear viewer, is, first of all, did you put the thought out? Did you send the invitation to who you want to hear from? That is a big part of it. Because quite a lot of
Yeah.
people just say, I want to hear, but they never send that invitation out, you know?
Mm.
And secondly, that is when, when they say, oh, I don't want to hear from them. And I say, well, listen to them. They come to because there's not the emotion there at that, because they've gone a long time ago, or whatever it was. But they come, they're beginning to build up before they can bring the person you want to hear from, where there's a lot of emotion. So,
Yes.
that's where we limit spirit by saying who we want, and who we don't want. That shouldn't be up to us, you know. We've got
No.
to allow, its natural essence, its natural flow.
Mm. Mm. I think I like what Sam says. I don't think of it like that at all, meaning I don't have any expectations on what or how mediums spiritualism should be. It depends what you're drawn to, like
Yeah,
SPTV. Absolutely, Sam.
absolutely.
You know,
Yes, definitely.
not everyone feels comfortable going into a church. But I think channels like this, and also the stuff that's on Zoom now, and of course, Zoom has given a different, diverse way of us to
Oh
work
yeah,
as mediums, and also, people coming on that maybe wouldn't have come onto a platform like this, or may not have gone out to a church, but feel happy coming on onto Zoom. So Chrissy Wheatley says those celebrity psychic mediums that do big theatres are in it for the money because of their celebrity status. And um, not all, Chrissy, not all. I mean, they probably do earn some money from it. But I think that it's their living, it's what they do. But I do know a couple of mediums that are in the public eye, and a lot of them still have the integrity behind their work, and always will have.
yeah,
So I think there are a lot of mediums out there that work very hard and are in the public eye, and they don't always have chauffeur-driven cars. They just live in normal houses like the rest of us. So, but they've just become popular because of their work, and
absolutely.
because so
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they've
And
still got the
Trevor,
integrity.
yeah, absolutely. But Trevor says you can also get an answer while listening to someone else's message. On Saturday, I got my answer to a question from a reading the medium read out. And this is what we were saying last
Yeah,
week. It doesn't
yeah.
always have to be direct. Spirit will get it to us in whichever way they can. And we
Mm.
just have to be listening, you
Absolutely.
know.
You know, sometimes when you put a question out, you could be watching a program or pick up something that you read, and it can give you that answer. A discussion with somebody. The information is there if we open our ears and if we listen.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
mean, Judith says
So
here, as adults, we get lost in the mundane things in lives, doing what has been, you know, in our visible lives through programming. Yeah, quite agree.
yeah.
We forget our childlike wonder of the invisible realm, where much has been taught to us, and that they are our imagination. Yes, I'm afraid that still carries on, doesn't it, a little bit, Um, so yeah, the real, and it's not fairy tales. You know, there's something I'm going to add in here as well. I think somehow, because of the way we see and view messages given,
Mm,
I think we've lost the miracle in that as well. Somehow, we've come away from the miracle of that message, of how that message is given, because it's not an easy thing for a medium to do. And it's not an easy thing for the spirit world to do. It's a
Mm.
miracle. And we should start to, to actually celebrate that.
Do you know what, Chris? Um, I slightly disagree a little bit there because for me, I never forget the miracle. I always appreciate and talk about the wonderment of spirit. That's what I call it, the wow factor. I always say quite often before I demonstrate, this is the wow factor. Don't take this for granted. You know,
Mhm.
it's a beautiful thing when the spirit world come through to share their memories and their experiences and that love. And I was listening to a talk, a discussion group the other week with Tim Abbott, and he was talking about the feeling in the room. And this may touch a little bit on what Trevor was saying, because I can remember listening to other people's messages, but still feeling the love. And it wasn't my message, but I felt that love. And when you feel that love and it's not even your message, that's the miracle, that's the magic. And I think that that is so beautiful. And I've never forgotten that, and I never will. And that's, I think you've got to keep your feet on, for me, you've got to keep your feet on the ground, and you've got to remember the magic, you've got to remember the miracle.
Yeah. So what do you disagree about? So you
Well,
said you disagree. So
no, but
no,
no,
you're actually confirming what we're saying, but I wasn't saying you and I wasn't being I because you know,
no,
we're still quite reputable mediums, I think. So we
yeah,
still appreciate that. But I'm just saying that
but
sometimes the way it's put across, the way people view it, the way that people receive it, they've forgotten that, you know what? Yes, they've lost the physical of their loved one, but their loved one is coming back to give them that love, to give them that comfort, to bring that calm and that healing.
mm,
That's the
mm.
miracle.
But the thing is that I've seen, and what I was going to add to that is I've seen other people still remember that miracle. I've seen it.
Good,
So it's
good.
that I've seen somebody get emotional. I've seen someone feel, think, oh my God. And you can tell by the look on their face, they
Yeah.
go back to that memory of, when they visited their granddad, or when they went on holiday with their mum, or their mind, you can see, and you can also realize the feeling of how it touches them. And I think
But
that's important.
that's that's what I would call spirit in action,
Yes.
not the actual miracle. That's what I would call the spirit in action, and really touching the heart and the mind and the soul of that person.
Mm,
But it's the
mm.
miracle of the communication, that we need to celebrate. Instead of keep dissing it all the time, let's look at, this is a communication from the spirit world. Our law, the physics, our physical law says that shouldn't happen, but
True.
yet it does.
But it does. It does. Do you think we may, because it happens a lot in our world, we sound like, Harry Potter world, don't we? Our world. Do we think we take that for granted then? Do you think it's taken for granted?
I'm going to
Oh,
say
well, it's just,
yes and no.
yeah,
I think it is becoming more taken for
yeah,
granted because you've got the psychic lines. Anybody can ring them up now and go
mm,
online, or Google it and get an instant message or whatever.
mm,
I think we do take it more for granted, but I think what we should behind that is still remember that miracle, you
absolutely,
know,
absolutely.
behind
I,
that. We're seeing it a lot more, aren't we, now?
we are, we are. I like what Geraldine says. She says, I'm an actor on stage. People come to see my show and become fully immersed in my character's story. Great. However, this is my character, my learned script. But if it triggers with anyone and it helps them look at themselves, then it's up to them to take that and work with it. I like that, Geraldine. I love mediumship, such joy, but I try every day to live my true life and I love guidance. Your gifts are wonderful. Thank you. Well, do you know what? We all have wonderful gifts, Geraldine, and to play a character on a stage is a fantastic gift as well. And it's great when you can get immersed in the storyline of a character. I love theatre, I love film, um, and I do get immersed in the storylines of the programs and the
But
theatre that I've watched over the years. You know, I love
just
it.
looking at
Love
what
it.
she said there is, yes, you're an actor, but you've said something that for me really shouts out something and what I think every medium should strive for. And I know I certainly try to do that, and I know the lovely Karen does, is let us get immersed in that character, the character that wants to communicate. We need to
Yes,
be immersed in that so that we can really truly touch upon those feelings and reach out, as it were, to the recipient so that they feel that true character. They know their loved one is there. So
absolutely.
we're not too dissimilar, Geraldine, in that way.
Mm, mm. It's it's interesting because it's about the story, and we're all telling a story, but we're telling a story of somebody that is now in the spirit world. And I love a story, and I love to get
Mhm.
immersed in that story of what they did and you know, their life, because life fascinates me. I don't know if you remember this program on TV at school, Chris, but there used to be this, and I used to love it. I used to get all excited when they were saying, "Oh, we're watching TV today," because it was a big thing in school. They'd wheel the big television out, and we'd all go and sit in the hall, and it was How We Used to Live. Do you remember those programs, How We Used to Live? And they were about the past, and they'd show how people lived in Roman times or the 30s and the 40s, and they'd reenact like a family of how they used to live. And I used to think it was absolutely brilliant. We'd have it at history. It was part of our history lesson.
I don't think
So
I can't remember that at ours. Either you went to a very posh school or you're just a lot more ancient than I am. So, you know,
now you know
so
I'm not that I'm not that that ancient.
well, actually, it's my birthday this week, so I'm
Oh,
going to flip the numbers around. So I'm actually becoming 16 this week. So, so that's the way I'm going to
oh
look at
well,
it.
happy birthday for
Thank
this
you.
week. Um
Um, but also, yeah, I would agree in the fact that, yeah, we are telling a story, but we're telling a story of somebody's life. Always
yes.
remember that. We've got to remember that this is a person that lived. This is a person that loved. This is a person that was immersed in the life of those of the recipient and around them. So we need
Mm,
to be true to that story. And that involves the
absolutely.
character, the personality, the feelings that go with it. You know, let's not just be generic because I know I'm not. I'm not a typical generic man. So good morning, Ashley. Nice to have you with us this
Morning,
morning.
Ashley.
So Eunice says we
Eunice,
need to get, oh, go on. Sorry.
we need to get people of all ages in the door, show love, friendship, and support. Their confidence in what we do will increase. Then they may just trust all what we do. Sometimes we just need to soften up a little, show we care. Absolutely, Eunice. It's
Mhm.
important to um, get people through the door in churches, in centres, and to show that love and friendship. And I actually think that in some ways, I think that, you know, I may have shared this with you before, but years ago, we actually took the spiritualist church. They were have when it was the year 2000, all the businesses in the area were invited to go to this like open day, this big fete, this big Millennium Fair, they called it. And we as the church went along and we had a marquee and we had about 40 people come through the door to receive healing. And we had our stall with our leaflets and books and things there. And we thought we were going to get an influx of people, into the church after that. And we may have got one or two, but not as many as we'd like. But we only did it the once. And maybe we should sort of take, and I suggested, being a new member of the committee, that we should take the church out to the people to let them know that we're there. And I think that that's important, that we talk about it, that we show who we are, because because I think that's important as well.
Well,
That
well,
we're
look,
that.
I've set off a little trend now. They're all sending me happy birthdays. That's very
Oh,
kind of you.
that's
Thank
nice.
you,
That's nice.
thank you.
That's
Yeah, I
nice.
agree with what, we need to be warm. We need to be welcome. We want to get these people in. And I think showing that consistency week in, week out, you know,
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
always find us when when they need us, and we should be ready to receive them when they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And talking about receiving and talking about ready, let's just see what our lovely Kate May, our outside broadcaster, has in store for us this week to see if we're ready for the coming week. So I think it's now time for Kate to give her tarot scope. So get yourselves ready, people, because I know that you really love this part of the show. So I'm going to invite our Chris to say those magic words to Richard.
Roll 'em, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Kate May, Modern Day Mystic, and we are looking at your week ahead tarot readings for each zodiac sign. This is the week of the 7th of October. We are in the harvest season. You can book a reading with me or catch me for a session on www.katemay.co.uk. Okay, Aries, your week ahead vibe is Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups brings you good news this week, Aries. Full of love, laughter, happiness, emotional joy. Get creative. There are going to be new ideas coming your way on a creative or spiritual matter. You may find that there is some happy family news as well. This is a great card to connect to friends and open your social door to new friendships, new opportunities. So Aries, fabulous week for you. Taurus, your week ahead is the devil. I know what that is. Try not to be over obsessed about something. I'm completely obsessed about a situation that's blocking me. Technical stuff. Anyhow, Taurus, this week, you've got chains here and they're kind of half covering you and half not. So this indicates that you've got a chance to break free from something that could be blocking you, restricting you, or holding you back. You do not have to be controlled. You do not have to be contained. You do not have to be blocked. You have a choice. Gemini, speak your truth. Be direct. Cut to the chase. Clear the air. Something might be on your mind this week, Geminis, that you need to be blunt and direct with. It definitely helps you, but be tactful in how you say it, although it does need to be done rather to the point. Cancer, the wish card. Happiness, new beginnings, hope, inspiration. Everything is realigning for you. Everything is starting to fall into place, Cancers, this week. And you're going to start to find that there is a little bit more luck in the air for you. Leo, big changes, the Tower. Big changes coming in this week, Leo. You might find that everything is a bit hectic, everything is chaotic, or just breaking down in front of you this week. However, there will be a silver lining where you can rebuild something stronger. It indicates, Leo, that something's a bit wobbly and we need to destroy it in order to rebuild it. Virgo, strength card. You need a lot of strength this week, Virgo, so hold your tongue. Try not to throw your toys out the pram or be too aggressive this week, Virgo. Make sure that you deal with people and yourself in a sensitive way. Get them to eat out of the palm of your hand. It's all about how you deal with them, and that inner strength, and that love wins over hate with this card. So that inner strength and gentleness is needed. Libra, forgot where I was then. Good news is coming in this week, Libra. It's your birthday week as well. This week, Libra, indicates where you could be looking to train or learn or teach things. You're adding to what you already know, but you could be feeling super excited about new opportunities this week, Libra. Scorpio, abundance, prosperity. This card indicates there is love, there is comfort. You are entering a positive phase, There may be some happy family news coming in around you as well, Scorpio, this week, but it's a card of comfort and doing things that you enjoy. Pamper yourself, treat yourself, but you're in for an abundant week. Sagittarius, trust your intuition. All is not as it seems. You might be looking to get some spiritual, psychic advice and guidance, or just trusting your own by meditation. Something isn't quite clear, so it's important that you trust what you feel, not what you see. Capricorn, you've got all the tools to do the job. Manifestation, great card. This week, Capricorns, you're in a position to be able to create the life that you want, to start all over again. You've literally got all the tools to do the job, as above, so below. Manifesting what it is you want. Now's the time to press that reset button. You can do this. Aquarius, fresh start for you, Aquarius. Take a leap of faith. Do something unexpected. It's ruled by your own planet Uranus, so sudden surprises or sudden opportunities could come your way, leading you to need to take a leap of faith that will pay off. And Pisces, it's the Lovers card. This card is great if you're single, because it can indicate you're going to meet somebody. If you're with somebody, it may indicate that you need to communicate more and be a bit vulnerable, both of you. Lay things out on the open, but communication this week, Pisces, is going to be really important, and where you are being transparent there. Now, your love of your life could enter this week, Pisces. If you're looking for someone, if you want to stay single, this card indicates loving yourself, learning to love yourself before any relationship, Pisces. That's where you got to start. Love yourself, spend some time connecting to you, being open and honest and transparent with yourself.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you, Kate, for your wonderful insight into what's happening with those beautiful cards. She's amazing, our Kate, isn't she? It's a pleasure to have her with us on a Monday morning as well. And while we're on the subject of what's been going on, I think I better just let you know all what's happening on SPTV in the coming week. So we have Deb Clark tonight at 7 o'clock. So I know all of you love our Deb. So tune in tonight at 7 for Deb, chatting to spirit, giving those wonderful readings that she does. We don't have Claire Pasterfield on Wednesday. Her show is going to be moving to Monday as of next week. So there's no Claire Wednesday, and she will be moving to Monday next week. But on Thursday, we have the wonderful Emily Baker at Thursday at 7 p.m. So there's still lots going on this wonderful channel. So I know that you will stay tuned and keep up to date with the Facebook page. And don't forget the app, people. You know, we haven't mentioned the wonderful app that our Richard created, because he's very clever, is Richard. So you can download the app. And everything SPTV, if you do at sptv.uk, that's where you'll find out everything, all about us hosts, all about the programs, about the app, about the wonderful SPTV Oracle cards. So there's still lots going on. So it's not just about the shows. There's lots of things in the background. So we've got Deb tonight at 7, Emily on Thursday at 7, and Claire will be moving her show to Monday next week. So there you go. And also next week, our Chris will need a little bit of healing, because he's going in for a procedure at the hospital, so he won't be with us for the next 2 weeks. So we know that you'll be missed, Chris, but we know that you've got to get sorted out, and we just would ask our wonderful SPTV family to send you a little bit of healing. So there you go. So
good morning, Margie.
Good morning, Margie. So that's all the news and updates, and we've been having a great discussion today, haven't we, Chris? It's been really.
We have.
I love it. I love our chats. It's great. And it's good that the family have been adding their bit as well. So if you've got any more comments on what we've been talking about, but I just wanted to add something. You know, we've spoken about spiritualism, and we've spoken about,
thank you, Natalie.
Oh, that's nice, Natalie. We've been talking about, things that are not the same as they used to be. But do you know what? Life in general can sometimes be very different. And this will make you laugh, because yesterday I got up and I was sorting bits and pieces out, and doing the usual pottering around. And then I had to put my cooking hat on, and we've touched on cooking as well. And I put my cooking hat on. Then I had to get myself ready for my service, so I put my medium hat on. And then after I did the service, I then became a furniture removal person, because I was moving furniture around the house. So I put my furniture removal hat on. And then after that, I put my friend hat on, because I had a couple of conversations with good friends on a group chat. And then after all that, I sat down and I watched Strictly. But,
Do you know,
you know,
I'm exhausted to listening to all of that.
I don't, I did the service in between all of that as well. So do you think that we run around like, headless chickens, so to speak, doing all these things? And with me running around yesterday, it made me think of my mum, because she used to be exactly the same. And she used to say to me, right, I'm putting my cooking hat on now. I'm going to cook the dinner. I'm putting my work hat on now. And she used to go out the door to work. And it made me smile, because I think I'm turning into my mother.
There's something in there, what you've said in, Sarah and I were speaking about this last night, and what we were looking, going forward, what we want from our life, both individually and together. And we touched on the fact that, that life has become so complicated for us, and it shouldn't be. It needn't be. Instead of putting the life back into living, we're just living a life that's full of work, on the things that we need to do and we don't need to do. I think we're always searching for this better standard in life. But I wonder about that. I wonder if that actually stops us living, because we always get this, when we reach that standard we think we should obtain, then we want more and we go beyond more. Society teaches us that we should be more all the time. When we look at people, and especially there's a beautiful island in Greece where they live so simply, and yet there isn't a therapist on the island. They don't have stress. They all live into their 90s and their 100, and and they don't have all the trappings we do. So do we, in the pursuit of making our life better, actually make it worse?
Yeah. Yeah, I do understand that. I can remember seeing a billboard at a train station about the story about um, a man fishing on the side of the dock, and a gentleman comes in and said, how much are you fishing? He said, I'm fishing to feed my family. He said, well, if you get a boat, you could feed the town. So he got a boat, and they said, well, if you could get another boat, and work harder and do this, and then at the end of it, all he wanted to do was just relax and fish at the side like he used to do. So I think sometimes in life we evolve. We start
Yeah.
off, I think, being very driven, but I think towards the end of our lives, we sort of sit back and think, I don't want to be so driven. I want to enjoy the things that are around me.
Instead of the
And
need of living a life, we need to bring life back into our living.
we do, we do. And
You
Helen's
know.
just said here, so many things change in a blink of an eye. And they do, Helen. They really do. We're all so busy, me to making cakes, cooking, Strictly, chatting, visiting. Absolutely. But you see, Strictly is very important.
Yeah. Well, she said something very magical to me there, cakes. Oh, I wish I lived near you. I
Yes.
love cakes.
Well, do you know what? I've got to mention the cakes at Littleport on Saturday night, because and that's about the community, because Nick said to me that he didn't ask them to bring in cakes. People just did it because they thought it would be nice for everybody to have tea and cake and to sit down and talk. And that is also important when you're building a church or a community. It's always good to talk, and it's always good to sit down with a cup of tea and share a piece of cake. And I think that's what's I think that's what's important. I love going out with people I care about, and sitting down over a meal or tea and cake or whatever, and just sharing time, you know. And Linda's just said, my dad worked hard all his life, and he was well into his 90s when he passed. Absolutely, Linda, because we do get into that mindset. I think we do need something to do to keep our minds occupied, though, Chris. I do think that it's a good thing to keep our minds and bodies.
Oh yeah, that's what they were saying. You do need to keep the mind. You know, when we once upon a time we used to retire, sit at home, and put the telly on, and that was it. And we died when we were 70. You know, but we now know that if you keep the mind and the body active, there's no reason why we can't carry on.
No.
You know, that is it. We've got to keep the mind active. But just going back to what you just touched on there about, you know, the cakes, and I never eat when I go to Little Port because I always love their cakes afterwards, so I have quite a few, you know, with them there. But
Yeah.
I always remember as a young man when I first started going into spiritualist churches when I was 16. And I always remember everybody came downstairs unless they had to rush off. Always came down and there was, oh, we all had tea, cake, sandwich, whatever. And we were the community and we came together, we talked together. Now I see, which is a little sad that, not saying everybody does it, but quite a lot of people just come in, get the message, and off they go. They don't stay behind for that little chat, that community. You know, I think that's so important because that's where we can learn. That's where we actually share our experiences. And I've known quite a many a good insight come from that.
Absolutely. And that's a really one of the most important jobs of a church is the steward on the door, the person that welcomes the people on the door, because that smile, that welcome is really important. And the encouragement to stay for a bit of cake and a cup of tea and to engage people. When I was on the committee at my church, I used to go round and I used to, if I'd spot somebody that wasn't a regular and that I hadn't seen before, and I'd go up and talk to them and say, are you going to come for a cup of tea? Or sometimes we used to go round with a tray and say, do you want tea? Do you want a biscuit? Do you want a piece of cake or whatever? So I think we have, because some people are a little bit nervous and think, oh, I'm going to go now. But I think so I used to make it my job because I'm nosy and I like to go and chat to people. And even as the medium, when I don't always go in the medium's room, I stay out in the congregation and talk to people because
Yeah.
sometimes people come up and want to ask me a question. So I try to engage with the community in the church rather than be, taken to the little room. I say, no, I'll have my tea out here with everybody else. And I prefer that. I like that.
Yes. I too do that. There are one or two churches where they insist on segregating you, and I don't like that myself. But Margie has put here about the balance, and that we don't burn ourselves out and we're having the physical ability to still connect with people. Absolutely what we've been saying is that keep that presence. I think if you can start to adopt the idea that you are of value no matter what age, and if you can keep that going, that, there is just something might be picked up in one word you may say, but that's invaluable to somebody else, So quite agree with you there, Margie.
I think it also depends because none of us are the same, are we? What's
No.
right for you is maybe not right for me or not right for Richard or not right for anybody here. We all do things, the same thing differently.
Yeah.
So, how even just a simple thing, how you make a sandwich is probably different to how somebody else makes a sandwich. My mum always used to cut the crusts off, especially when she was making sandwiches for guests. That was her thing. She would cut the crusts off. And she would always do a little bit of garnish on the you know, with the sandwich, there would be a little bit of lettuce, cucumber, and what have you on the side. That was how my mum made a sandwich. You know, now, and yet when my dad made a sandwich, he cut great big doorstep bread, stuffed it all in, and that was it. Me, I like my sandwiches cut in four. Everybody does. It's still a sandwich, but it's done in a very different way. So I think that when we approach life, we're still trying to live a life, but we're doing it at our own pace. We're working and trying to, and some people will engage, some people won't. But this is what fascinates me about people and what fascinates me about life, because all the things that we do, they all sort of ebb and flow into other people's lives as well, because we
Yeah.
all touch. And Linda's just said, no, crusts are the best. Absolutely.
I agree with you there. I always went for the crust of the bread. Always. That was mine. It still is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it was, it's just the into how we interweave with each other. We're different, but we are similar in lots of different ways, and that's what I love about, about life.
I think also, you're quite right in what you're saying, but there's this idea or idealism that we should live this way or that way. We should be striving for this and that way. And I think in that, you know, we've got to remember we're individual. We've got to remember we're here to experience our life, not somebody else's, our life. Now, that may be good, bad, and different, but we've got to experience it, warts and all. You know, we've really got to go through what we've got to go through, but then make our choices as we go through that. That's the beauty of life for me. That,
Yeah.
you know what? Yes, there are some things that are out of my control, which is down to the law of the land or whatever. But I can control the rest of it to a certain fashion. What I mean by that is, yes, bad things are going to happen to me, but I can choose how I react to them, and I can
That's true.
choose how I do it, how I go about that, I can make it in my time instead of somebody else's time. If we choose to see the good in our life, then that radiates a positivity from us that then can touch the lives of others. Surely that's what it's about.
I know. It's if people see you living your life and doing your thing, um, you know, um, but we that very Geraldine, I used to be exactly the same. I do everything at 100 miles an hour, and I feel I'm not getting to complete much. But what shocked me recently was on walking my dog, my stopping to chat with others, or sitting in a bus. I spot the person sitting alone, and I strike up conversations. I love people, and I hate to see loneliness. So even though I'm overwhelmed by lots to do, I know I'm doing good to others. That's the joy in my life. Oh, that's wonderful. Do you
And I
know what? It's
applaud
so
that, applaud it.
absolutely, absolutely. Do you know what? It's so nice to talk to people and to reach out. You learn so much when you actually reach out and talk, because sometimes we do put our head down. I used to work in the West End and the city,
Oh,
and
showing
nobody
off
looked.
now.
I did it for many years. It's not all it's cracked up to be. I enjoyed it at the time I did it, but I did notice, and it was funny because I was in the city and working in the West End when I first came into spiritualism, and it was interesting how I changed my views on life in London and working in London. How I looked at things differently the more I got involved in spiritualism. I started to notice how people didn't engage. They'd be
Yes.
coffee in hand, head down, off to work. And as mobile phones came in, it was more so. When people would come out to get at 1 o'clock, they'd come out, march to the local sandwich establishment, head down, get sandwich, back to work, or go and sit somewhere, eat sandwich, back to work, rush to do shopping. And I was part of that. I was part of that. But then I
You know,
started to take, then I started to take myself off. I was very fortunate where I worked in London because we had a park quite close by. So instead of just rushing, I'd go and sit in the park and take a breath to sort of digest what had happened that day. So it's interesting how you look at things from two different perspectives, before I came into spiritualism and after.
Mhm.
So it's
You know,
interesting.
it's interesting you said that, because I lived at the outskirts of London for a little while myself. So, and it's a whole different life, isn't it? It's a whole different view. In fact, I think it's a little country all on its own sometimes. But you
Yeah.
know, I watched it and saw it and going into it. And in the end, I got so fed up of people never wanting to speak to you, never want to say hello, they never want to speak. So you know the unwritten rule that is, when you're in the subway, you know, the tube station
Yeah.
or on an escalator, you always stand to the right, don't you? So everybody can just zip past on the left. I used to try to stand purposely in the left, so that would force them to speak to me and
Mm,
do that.
mm.
You know, dare to be different. And that's what it is
Absolutely.
about. Dare to be different. You
Absolutely.
know, engage people. We really need to engage people. And if people won't engage with us, then be the person that stands on the left.
Well, it's similar to what Chris is just saying here. People try to avoid me, Karen, but it doesn't always work. I spot them and say hello and strike a conversation up just to irritate them.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, that's amazing. But do you know what? Another thing is, I went back into London a few years ago with a friend, and she wanted to go to this shop. And the only shop that had stocked this particular thing that she wanted was in Canary Wharf. Now, I'd not been back to the city for years. And I went in there and it just sort of hit me. I was like, oh, it was different energy, different
Yeah.
vibe. And 1 o'clock, the doors of this big company opened and they all come marching out. And I smiled to myself. Yes, I'm pleased I've done that. Yes, I'm pleased I was part of that, because it's made me who I am. But I'm really pleased that I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Good morning to you as well, Gabriella. I always try to see the
Oh,
positive in life, simple joys and kindness. Exactly. That's what it's about, you know. Let's spread a little joy and let's spread a little kindness.
but what is
Yeah.
interesting, a smile can say 1,000 things. And what is it? You use more muscles to less to smile, or I don't know, the one way uh, about frowning. So I used to smile at people on the tube and to see if I would get a reaction back. And sometimes I did, and it was quite nice, because everybody's busy, and especially if the tube or the train is running late, then people talk to each other because you've got the common ground. Oh, I'm going to be late. I've got a meeting. Oh, my boss is going to kill me. I was late yesterday. So you've got that common ground. So people will talk,
Mm.
people will engage. But apart from that, they're busy in their own thoughts, which is fine. They're thinking about the day ahead. But just for that moment, I can remember when we're coming, we all got stuck on the train for God knows how long. And I said, I just got back from holiday. And I said, and I just struck up a conversation. I said, it was quicker for me to get back from Greece yesterday than it was actually getting to work this morning. And everybody in the carriage laughed. So that broke the ice, and everybody started to form a conversation. And some said, oh, shall I get a taxi? Is anybody going to so and so? Does somebody want to join me? And I thought, no, I'm just going to sit and wait. It's not my fault. The train's late. I'm in no rush to get to work after my holiday.
Do you
But
know,
it's interesting
it's
how
lovely.
things can evolve.
I remember once, and this is going to make you laugh, you know how full the tubes get, and it's like
Yes,
literally sardines, and you're up close and personal with people, really personal at
yes,
times, you
absolutely.
know. And I can always remember in the carriage, everybody that was dead as a dead, really silent, you know, everybody's looking down or trying to not engage other people in the eyes because it's the taboo. But I said to this one guy, I could feel this hard thing up against me, and I just said, "Oh, are you pleased to see me?" I knew it was his umbrella, and everybody just laughed, you know. And that, so sometimes it just takes that little silly reaction, that little bit is just to break the ice, you know. I think I don't know what it is nowadays. We're just afraid to speak out sometimes, aren't we? You know, we're just afraid to be out what's considered the norm. There's nothing normal about life. It shouldn't be normal. It should be extraordinary. And I think we need to try and bring that into our lives a bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Helen says, I love making people feel happy, which we did, my partner and I, through COVID lockdowns. We danced in our local bandstand, all at a distance for COVID restrictions, but amazing how we touch people's heart, help them out of the depression. We ended up being loved up and down the country, and was on Points West News for all the good we did. We changed people's lives in a good way, smiling and happy. Do you know what, Helen? That's
Wow.
fantastic. Because everybody gets involved in music and dancing, and to
Yes.
watch people dance, I think that's absolutely fabulous. I used to go to St James's Park and listen to the band play on the bandstand, and it was just so nice to listen to the music. So well done, Helen, and thank you for sharing that with us. We're good, thank you, Tony. Nice to have you with us. Nice to see
Yes.
you today. You know,
Lovely.
but it is wonderful how just something as simple as dancing. You doing something that you love and sharing it with other people.
I quite agree with Margie here that sometimes it does catch people unaware, or by surprise that when you give them a smile, because I love to do that,
Mm,
and they,
mm.
and I see these people again, and you can see them suddenly move their eyes and goes, "Oh God, it's him again," and they smile, and they start smiling at me first, But it's wonderful, isn't it? That we could do that.
Oh dear. Oh, Kimberly, thank you, Kimberly. This show is great for a break from busy life, also nice and relaxing. Thank you both. Oh, it's our pleasure, Kimberly.
Oh,
Do you know what? It's
absolutely.
nice to chat. It's nice to celebrate that spirit within, and get it out there and share the love and talk about things. And Chris, my daughter and I, we use friendly banter between ourselves, and other people love our friendly insults. I call her dopey and she's full of names, but it's hilarious. Yeah, that can be quite fun as well when you have a little bit of banter with each other and have a laugh and what have you. And you know what? That's what life's about sometimes, just to laugh
Yeah.
at yourself as well. You know,
Absolutely. And the lovely Tony says she always puts a lovely smiley face on her notes. That's lovely. Would you bring that smile? Again, Sarah and I were talking when we were talking the other night, we need to more smiles in our life. We need more happiness, we need more fun,
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
work, 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 as it so
absolutely.
thing it becomes
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, I think it's time now for maybe
Well,
our
just have a
lovely.
read of this one,
Oh,
James.
okay, James. Sound of Silence is about people's inability to communicate with each other. A group of so-called friends have made me feel like I was a sociopath just because I reacted in a very emotional way to their actions. I've come to realize just how selfish and disdainful the human race truly is in just the time that I've been alive. Our relationship with technology most certainly hasn't helped. I feel for you, James. I really do.
Yeah.
It sometimes we don't know how to communicate with each other. Sometimes we don't have the words or the reactions, and I really do feel for you.
I
But do you
know.
know what? You come on here and you communicate with us, with the
Yes.
SPTV family, and I hope that you feel included, and I hope that you enjoy being part of this because it is important to feel part of something and included. So, James, we value you on here. So never
And
feel
please don't,
undervalued.
you know, not all the human race is like that. It's just unfortunate you've connected with those that do behave like that. I'd like to think here, our little family are the opposite of that, and
Yes.
we certainly try to be. So, maybe change your view, change
Mm.
where you're looking, look in the other direction. You don't need to change you just because you don't fit in with others. Celebrate that. I would. I don't care if they think I'm crazy. Quite most of the time I am. But there you go. And I do agree with the technology. Yeah, we've become too much absorbed in it. Yet it still has its benefits. Like we can talk to you now today on Zoom.
it's interesting. I always, William was growing up as technology was coming more and more, and I'm a big fan of it. But um, I always have a rule. We don't have technology at the table when we're eating. And
Yes.
I always, because there was for many years, there was just William and I. And we'd come and I'd always sit at the table and we'd always discuss about our day. So we were communicating with each other and sharing, what we've been doing and what have you. And that's stayed on because William at the moment is traveling. He's off on his travels. He's on a ship. And but you know what? He always still communicates with me. He rings me, video chats, just because he knows that it's important to keep that lines of communication open. And also because I've moved to Lincolnshire, I try to reach out to friends down south that don't see as much or can't get to see because of distance. So I think technology can be great for that, but it doesn't take away from giving someone a hug and sitting opposite somebody sharing tea and cake.
Well,
We're
do you
back
know
to the
something? I'm
cake
just,
again.
oh God, and you and that cake, you're making me hungry. Um, I'm going to, I do always believe, especially where children are concerned, I think really we should bring the dining table into the middle of the sitting room. The dining table is a very important thing in our life. We should all sit together, eat together, talk together, laugh together, and share together.
Yeah,
I always think when I was a kid, that was a big part of our life, that we all sat together. Didn't matter what we were doing, where we were, we had to be home at meal times and sit together. I think that's a very important part of our life that's
yeah.
sadly missing because the kids now, they're dinner in front of a computer. I used to say to my sisters, you know, switch off the Wi-Fi, do something. This is not good. Their friend, one of my nephews used to be on, talking all the time to their friends online, and they only live around the damn corner. Why wouldn't he be around the corner? I said, why isn't he around the corner? Shared that physical experience. So the
Well,
dining table, very important.
do you know what? You made me think of something, and I know I'm old, but I don't care. We only had one television, and my friend Faye, she was allowed to have a television in her bedroom. So I thought she was really posh because she actually had her own TV in her bedroom, And I used to go around to her house and we'd sit and watch TV in
Mm.
her bedroom. We didn't have to watch what her parents watched. We watched what we wanted to watch. So if my dad was watching something, I'd sneak round to Faye's and watch Top of the Pops at Faye's house because she used to have her own TV. And that was a real, that was a big thing,
Mm.
that she had her own TV in her bedroom. But otherwise you had to sort of, you didn't have a remote control. You had to press the buttons. And sometimes you
Mhm.
had to stand with the aerial because the picture kept rolling. God, I'm showing my age today.
What are you, 86?
No, not quite, not quite, not quite. But there you go. But do you know what? I've really enjoyed our chat today. But I do think we ought to invite our loved ones to come and have a chat with their loved ones that are joining us. So I think it's time to invite the spirit world to join us. Hello, Georgette. Lovely to have you with us. And I love your poster, Change Your Life. Yeah,
Oh, yes, I've just
that's
noticed
great.
that.
Yeah, we've been talking
Oh,
about life and changing
my daughter
things.
texts me from her bedroom. I love that. You know, so,
But it's the way it is at the moment, and I think as long as you can have that human contact, as long as you can still, keep in touch with people, it's got its good
yeah,
points and it's got its bad points, and it's about balance. It's about balance, trying to balance it all
it
out,
is.
I think.
Good
It is.
morning, Jane. I love your photo of your little dog.
Oh, that's lovely. So, Mr. Jacobs, I'm going to put you in the firing line and I'm going to ask you if you can start first this morning with our loved ones from the spirit world.
I'm sorry, I've retired.
No, you haven't.
Right. Okay. Uh, all right. As I connect here with the spirit world, I, you know, we've been talking about so many things here, but I've got this lovely lady that wants to come to me, and I know as she blends with my essence. I feel as though these little things that she used to do, like making little pom-poms here, and the little. I'm trying to think about it. I can't remember my mind's gone here. I can't remember what they actually called all these, but making these little pom-poms, the arts and crafts, that's it. She loved to do these little arts and crafts, and I know that I want to say you would join in with these little things, and especially as we're coming up to the festive period. And I know also that this lady shows me here those lovely pairs of scissors that she used to cut out old Christmas cards that she used to keep and make tags for the Christmas coming up. And it was all these little things. She would never throw away anything. It could always be made into something more. I also feel with this lady too, she was not in great health. She would have suffered with a heart condition. I'm wondering if I feel a pacemaker or something there as well with her, but she would bring so much joy and so much happiness. And it was about that joy and that happiness in your life as you were growing up, and the sharing of these experiences that she too did as a little girl when she was growing up. And also, I know there would be those lovely important things like sharing together. And I do feel as though I want to share my Maltesers with you. So I think she loved her little chocolates, these little Maltesers. We used to do that, and I do that with my grandkids. Lovely, isn't it? Okay, so we have two here. And I do know with the heart condition, I do feel that this got worse with her. I do feel that there was a problem with the circulation because of the heart, because I want to talk about the kind of bluish tinge just to her face or maybe in her cheeks here as she shows me. So, but I know that it never, even though her health failed and let her down, it never took the happiness out of her life because she always had a smile, no matter who you are and who you were. And I do feel as though I'm just hearing the name Jackie, but I don't know whether that's connected with this or not, too. So this was about those small things in life, those small things that made you happy, and trying to continue that legacy and showing that, to your kids or your grandkids. And I do feel here that I want to say it's about bringing the smile to those little faces, because as we grow up, that's what we'll remember. We won't remember the iPads. We won't remember you will remember those little things we did together, those little trinkets. Also, I want to talk about little wind up cars as well that you used to just wind up here, and she shows me them flying on. I just feel that we want to have like little wacky races with that too. So I know there was is it Tonya and the other lady before? Sorry, that also agreed. Leslie here. All right. Oh, Leslie always had blue lips. Okay, Leslie, I know that's with you then, because she showed me this very much of the blue tinge that would happen because of a circulation here too. I also wanted to share about definitely don't, can't have a cup of tea without a biscuit to dunk, into the tea. So I know she would have loved that, but it had to be cup and saucer. She shows me a cup and saucer. So she still held on to those little refined things. And I definitely think I really want to say here to you, thank you for carrying on that legacy. Thank you for sharing those experiences, because those small things really, really matter. So take her love and her expression of that love to you and yours. And God bless.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely, Chris. Bringing that lovely message for Leslie. So, okay.
She did it and she hated it. Well, there's no accounting for taste, Leslie.
Okay. I've got two people here with me at the moment. I've got a very laid back gentleman, and I've got quite a strict mum. So I just feel that mum was, and she's sort of been listening to what we've been talking about. She's sort of like, I feel that in mum's house, it would have been take your elbows off the table. It would have been you had to, clear your plate and especially eat your greens. Your veg was really, really important. So I know that she was quite strict here. And I do feel, but she did have a soft side. And I just feel here that she just wants to step forward because I feel that she it was important that she brought her kids up with manners, with respect, and with responsibility. So I just feel that she's just stepping forward. But I do feel towards the end of her life, she softened a little bit. And I do feel that she was softer with grandchildren. And I think that whoever I'm connecting with sort of used to smile as if to say, well, you've got the softer side to what she used to be. I also am aware of a gentleman that comes in as well. He's very laid back, sort of like so laid back, it's like he's almost falling over. And he just went with the flow. And I do feel he's slightly younger. He's slightly younger. So would anybody understand where they've got a mum in the spirit world or an uncle or brother, I feel here, that is also in the spirit world? So, but the lady is sort of taking over the conversation at, as I feel that she would in life. So she's just coming forward, and she just wants to connect because I feel that whoever I'm working with is needs a little bit of connection at the moment. I feel that they're struggling. And I also feel that they've been looking back recently at times gone by. Now, I also feel here with mum, she was a very private lady and she kept her sort of opinion, she liked to keep her opinions to herself, but she could be a little bit tight-lipped sometimes and she didn't like gossip. So I know she didn't like people talking about sort of stuff that was private. And I do feel that the coast is connected here as well. I know that she would have had a connection with the coast, and she's talking about family holidays. Richard, can you roll the people for me? Because I just feel I want to reach out to somebody when I can see here. Suzanne can understand this. Sounds like my parents. Okay. Right now, Granddad was laid back and quiet but fun. Okay, so we got Helen. Could be my nan and my uncle. I did feel it was uncle or brother, not grandparents. So Sam, can I just work with you just for the moment here? Would you understand where she had that look on her face, Sam, where I can't do it? She sort of pursed lips, very sort of when she wasn't happy about something. And I do feel that sometimes she couldn't be bothered with all the gossip that used to go on around the area. She was an extremely hard-working lady, but when she said something, she said it with meaning. And I do feel that she did used to reach out to a lot of people. I feel that she would reach out to when people needed help. So I feel she was a sanctuary for somebody in the family. She looked after somebody in the family when they were on hard times. So I do feel here that she wants to reach out to you because I think that I think there was something a little bit intuitive about her. She would always know, what was going on in sort of like an understated way. Or she used to take us all down the coast. She loved the coast. She loved being free. She loved the sea. I feel that it really used to sort of like resonate with her. And I feel that that's where you would see her fun side, because I do feel that she would love to make sandcastles, because she's just shown me a picture of her making sandcastles on the beach with the kids. And she's also telling me that you didn't like sandy sandwiches because she's saying that you sort of like would screw up your face if sand had got in your food. So she's just laughing about that. Would you also understand where you have her earrings? Something about a pair of earrings, either that she bought you or that you have of hers as well. I've also got the name of Jack that I feel is connected, and the gentleman's still here, but he's just shrugging his shoulders and he's saying, I'm letting her sort of, you know, take over because that's what she used to do. But I just feel here that she is pleased that she is all right. Okay, so it's the uncle would always end up at home where Nan could help him. Well, I just feel here that she just wants to say that all is well in the spirit world, and I feel that she wants to bring the family together here. You have her earrings on. Fabulous, fabulous. I just feel she wants to start bringing the family here. And I know that Chris and I have been talking about, you know, sitting around the table. And this is what she tries to do, because sitting around the table and having a meal together was very, very important. And I know that she's showing me Christmas crackers now. So I know that she always loved a Christmas cracker, and she would always walk about all day with her hat on, you know, the paper hat out, the Christmas cracker. And she said, I used to forget it was on my head, even about 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'd still be clearing up the debris, walking about with my hat on, because it just became part and parcel. She's also taking me now to memories of homemade decorations on the Christmas tree. So I feel that you would have made these either with her or at school, and they would have all been put on the Christmas tree. And I feel here that you've been thinking about making some things to put on your Christmas tree now, or something about homemade decorations on the Christmas tree. And she's talking about traditions, family traditions. Family traditions are very important. And she says that's what we need to bring back, the family traditions. And she just wants to give you so much love. She really does. Because even though she could be, she was strict, and what she said went, because her word was sort of like the way things moved forward. But I just feel that you could feel her love, and everything was sort of like done with love. And I feel that she tried to provide a safe um, a safe environment for you to come, because I do feel at holidays you used to spend with her. And she loved that time together. And she's showing me the Crayola crayons. So I know that she would have bought you a colouring book with the Crayola crayons, and you would have sat colouring or drawing pictures. And I feel she wants to encourage you with your creative side as well. So I hope that makes sense to you, Sam. Take her love. And also, the uncle's just popped in to say, I'm here, I'm okay. And I just feel that his health deteriorated quite a lot. But he said, I was too laid back to be aware that I was poorly. I just feel that he's got a good sense of humour. So take their love, and thank you for working with me. So thank you. Okay. So have we still got our Chris? Oh, every holiday you'd be there. That's wonderful. Okay, well, while Chris is just off camera, I'll just carry on here. Because I've got a gentleman here. Oh,
So sorry, I had
that's
a
okay.
coughing fit. Sorry.
That's okay, Chris. I've just got a gentleman here, so I'm going to do another one, and then you can take over.
Okay.
If that's okay with you, if that's all
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Okay, I've got a gentleman here, and I know that he's father. And I know that he would have worked with his hands, but I also feel there must have been, I just feel here that there was an injury, something about an injury or something wrong with one of his hands towards the end of his life, because I do feel that he couldn't move his hands, or something about his fingers. I also feel here that he had some other heart issues going on as well. And I feel that towards the end of his life, he was very much sort of a little bit housebound. But during his early life, I feel that he would have worn overalls, some sort of uniform or overalls in his job. And I want to sort of get him fixing engines or something to do with cars. So I know that he would fix things. He was a fixer. And I just feel here that he just wants to he wants to speak to his daughter. And also I feel that he has a strong connection with grandchildren as well. Now I'm hearing the name Michael. I'm not saying that that's his name, but I know it's connected with the family somewhere. And I also feel that when he was younger, I get the sense when he was younger that he was quite physically fit. I feel that there's sport connected with him as well. I want to run. I feel that he might have been a bit of a runner in his early days, if that makes sense to anybody. But towards the end of his life, I just feel that there's a different story. I feel that he had to sort of not do so much, and I just feel that there was some physicalities problems with his limbs, especially with his hands. Oh well, we may do, Chrissy, we may do a message together. We may do that. So Carrie Ann, it's okay, Carrie Ann, you can understand that. That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. I just feel I'm going to work with Carrie Ann, Helen, because I just feel she said it's dad. So I do feel it is dad here. Oh, can you? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So also, no, you're not. You're not. But definitely, Richard can also understand that, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to work here with him. But Michael is my husband. Okay, so let me just work here. Now, would you understand that Dad would have had a ring, a signet ring? Because I just feel he's drawing attention to a signet ring. So, Carrie, can you understand that? Not you, Richard. Okay. Because I just feel that there's something about a ring, and I feel it's a signet ring. But I also feel that a ring was bought for someone as well. So we've got the ring that he had, and also a ring was given as a birthday gift as well. I just feel that the sense I feel about him is that he's very reliable, he's very sensible, and he would have thought about things, weighed things up in his mind, pondered on things, and then he would have given his opinion. So I just feel that people in the family would have gone to him. And I just feel that even when he wasn't great towards the end of his life, I feel he had a signet ring. Okay, that's fine. I am with you then, Carrie. So I just feel here that I've got him pondering on things, and he would have thought things over, and people would have gone to him for advice because he was very, a little bit lateral thinking. He would think about things a little bit outside the box. He would weigh things up, and he would give people good advice. And I feel also he had a good head for figures as well. Even though he was practical with his hands, I do feel he was very good with figures as well. And I also feel here that this is why he's stepping forward, because I feel, Carrie, that you've been actually thinking and saying, I wish Dad was here that I could talk to. And he's saying, I am here. You can still talk to me and I still listen. So send your thoughts out. And I feel that he's going to give you the help with these thoughts and help with these questions. But of course, the decision is always yours. Just because it comes from the spirit world, they give that guidance, and that's what it's meant to be. And I feel he would always say this: I'm only giving my guidance. It's up to you how you live your life. But he's just stepping forward, and he's just coming in with a lot of love and support, because I feel that he gave a lot of love and support to you. And I do feel that you and him would sort of have quite deep, meaningful chats as well. And I also feel it was you that helped him towards the end of his life. And he's saying it was a little bit of a dark time at one point in my life. It was hard for me to see the wood for the trees, but you helped me find that light. You helped me sort of look a little bit more positive again. And he wants to thank you for that, because I do feel that when he started to have the issues with his physical body, it was a struggle for him, being such a physical, busy person. I just feel that he struggled with that, but he had to get it in his mind. It had to sit right with him, and you helped him with that. and he just wants to give you so much love and to say thank you for being there for him. So I hope that makes sense, Carrie.
Well done, Karen. That was lovely. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize again when it should have been my time. I'll just do a quick message and then we'll go into that double one, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. I know as I connect here that I've got a lovely gentleman that wants to come forward here. He takes me back into a point of life where he could have had a connection to railways. I felt like I was working on the railways, but as I see it, I'm on the carriage. So I would have seen him working physically on the tracks. So I know that this would have been part of his working life, not the whole part. It also takes me to his stomach. I feel this issue with ulcers, and he would have suffered quite badly with these stomach ulcers. I know that I would be taking, like, I don't know what it is they take, but they used to take all of these Alka-Seltzers and all sorts. And I felt like they're almost going in like sweeties here. So I know he would have taken them quite regularly here. But what a lovely man. And I getting the feel that I feel like this is grandfather, possibly father's father here too. And I got a very strong man, and physically strong and emotionally strong, but yet a gentle person. I do know that there would have been times when he would be playing with the kids. I see them up on his shoulders here as he's running around. He also shows me here days at the beach where he would be the man with the knotted hanky on his head, as he's running around. I also get that he's quite a thrifty man, because he shows me, we'll have an ice cream, but we'll buy one, just test that it's correct and right, so everybody likes it before I go and buy more. It was not a one for wasting money at all. I do feel too that he either made models. He showed. I don't know whether they were like the ships in the bottle that they used to make at one time, but he shows me making of um, little models. So Trevor, there's possible Rennies. Yes, it could be Rennies or Alka-Seltzers. Sorry, I couldn't quite get it. So does anybody understand this gentleman that wants to come through here? Because I know he wants to connect with family, because I do feel that at the moment family may be a little bit disjointed, that they're not connecting like we've been talking about today, that he feels that we need to come back together no matter how far or how wide we are. I do feel too so that this gentleman would also have loved his plants, but I'm feeling more indoors than I am outdoors, because I'm seeing this. I know there must be a memory of going to his house where sometimes it would look quite dark because of all the plants or whatever was in there, but it would look quite dark. And anybody understand this at this moment? Oh dear, we can't have that. Oh, okay. I I know also I want to talk about somebody, I'm not sure if this was him, but they rolled their own cigarettes, and how they show it. I just feel as I want to be so thrifty with that. They're so thin. I doubt I could roll them that thin. But I don't smoke anyway, so I wouldn't know how to do it. But I do see this rolling of the cigarettes very, very thin. Caitlin, you could be my granddad. Okay. With the ulcers, the stomach area, that I know he would have suffered with as well. Oh, Sam again could be her pop. All right. I do feel that the stomach, there was a suffering with that. But this gentleman was not going to allow that to spoil any festivities or any celebrations, because I felt there was a celebration coming up this time of year, and he would not allow that to disturb that or inhibit that in any way. And I do feel that it was kind of, I'm hanging on. But I do get the feeling as we go past Christmas and the New Year that this gentleman that took his transition to the spirit world, I'm feeling around February, March time, when this passing took place. So could we come back? Not me, he didn't smoke, but my dad did. Okay, I didn't know if this was him. I did say that, but I did see the rolling of cigarettes very, very thin here too. Um, I also get with this man that he talks about the family. He talks about the family being strong and always used to be strong. I know that this has been something that's been a little bit of concern just lately as well. So there must have been talk about reconnecting with the family, getting back in touch and strengthening those bonds. Also, I want to bring in, there must be somebody. I feel like I want a bit of an heirloom in the family, but I feel like I want Christmas decorations, as though these decorations were passed right down we've been passed from a couple of generations until literally they fell to bits. So I know that they were paper made or they weren't the plastic thing. So Caitlin, my granddad, hid his illness from the family. Right, okay. I do feel that's what he did. He wasn't going to allow that to disturb what was ever going on, So he just wanted to share those memories because I do feel that there's a time round now where we are sharing our memories, where we are looking back and we're looking at trying to start our own traditions, trying to bring in that family cohesiveness where we can pass that on to our kids. And I know he's applauding that very much. So I just leave you with his love and say thank you very much for working with me there. Okay, Karen, shall we try our dual link here?
Add your link. Okay. That was lovely, Chris. As I was sitting there listening to you, I was aware of a lady that comes through from the spirit world. And I did feel as if there was something here. I suddenly felt as if I couldn't speak, as if there was pain here. So I don't know if it was something to do with a throat condition. And I do feel that something had to be done uh, with her throat and also the chest as well. I did feel sort of concealed, if that's the right terminology. I also feel here that she was a lady that didn't always I feel here that she didn't always speak her thoughts. I feel that she seems to be a little bit sort of like as if she can't really speak her truth. I feel that sometimes she was a little bit reserved and didn't always share and was very much sort of like a background person. She's sort of standing in the background and she would watch and she would listen, but she wouldn't actually share what she was thinking. And she could be very reserved in her thoughts. And I think it came from her upbringing, her background, sort of a bit straight-laced, a bit Victorian in her views. So I just feel here that she found it sometimes difficult to communicate with people and to share. And I do feel that she had quite a bit of sadness in her life. I just get a sense of sadness. And even I feel when she passed to the spirit world, that there was still people said, well, she was a lovely person and she was kind, but they didn't really know the the background of her story. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. And Caitlin's just said my gran had throat cancer before she passed. Right.
And that was what I was waiting to get in. What a shame, because I know that I wanted the cancer of the throat here too, but I do believe that it started somewhere else and then went into the throat, as I was linking in there too. But I want a person who was quite a direct lady. She would certainly, when she had something to say, it certainly meant something. It was usually quite spot on. And so she was quite a force to be reckoned with, but only when and as she needed to do. But I know the cancer became quite strong and really took over the throat area. I do feel that it would have also altered the voice, how she spoke. It would, to me, I'm hearing a deeper voice
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the change that it brought about. Back to you, Karen.
I don't know if she had to have some help with speech as well, because I'm feeling there had to be some intervention or something there as well. But Caitlin, would you understand if this is for you, whereby you were sort of like the favorite, or you and her had a very strong connection? Because I just feel here that she's sort of like, I'm just feeling that energy move as if to say, that's my girl. So I feel that there's a strong connection there, with with a granddaughter. But I feel here that I feel like there's a sense whereby there was a past that, or something in her past that she didn't talk about. And Helen can also understand that. My partner's mum had esophagus cancer, yes, the throat, which is sort of there.
And it became very aggressive. It became very aggressive.
But I feel here that there's the past. She's talking about something in the past to do with things that weren't spoken about within the family. And I think things have come to the fore since she passed, or there was things found, a little bit of history about her life that perhaps she didn't share. So I just feel there was something in the past here that is connected with her.
As she communicates further here, I also want to talk about something to connect to Jewish, something to do with the Jewish here. Although I don't think she possibly was Jewish, but I know there were strong connections there. She also shows me here a menorah, which is the candle bit, which she would proudly display every Christmas, would be out as a Christmas thing. But it was a proper menorah. And I know here, as I go to those Jewish friends, I also want to talk about Jewish friends here too, who she would have shared times with. And I kind of feel as though I want a connection with Jordan, or something about where somebody's been talking about Jordan recently too. Let us know if you can connect with that. Yes, we did have an amazing connection. She loved how strong-minded she is. Yes, but I think that was also her as well, you know. So this was I've got to say, this was a very, very proud lady of who she was. And I do feel she was no stranger to setting her own traditions, her own tradition. She was not a follower. This lady was definitely a leader. Okay. Karen.
I think here also there's a necklace connected with her as well that you would have. And I know it's something to do. It looks like a star. So I feel it's something, it's sort of like a nice shiny necklace that looks a little bit like a star.
Like the Star of David, you mean?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Something about a necklace. And I know that was in things like that were important to her. I feel that she loved her precious pieces, and I feel that whoever would remember her looking in this beautiful jewelry box with all the with all their lovely jewelry, and it would have they would be pulled out little drawers, and there would be more treasure. And I think that you would have said, oh, it's treasure. Caitlin's just, I'm not sure about Jewish, maybe somebody else. I have a cousin Jordan. Sounds very much
Right.
like my
That
gran.
could
She was the
be
leader of,
where
yeah,
I
and
went
a
wrong with the
necklace. Right,
Jordan.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, Chris, I think this is a name, not a place. I
Yeah.
just felt that it was a name, yeah, because of course the name Jordan is a popular name. But I just feel here that that you would have looked this beautiful jewelry box with drawers that came out where she would keep her treasure, and I feel that you would have called it treasure, or she would have called it treasure. And I've just got this such strong bond, Caitlin, this really lovely strong bond with her. And she comes with a lot of love here, you know.
Yeah. I know I'm just asking, why did I get the Jewish here? And I'm feeling this is where I went wrong. I didn't ask the question, rookie error here. I think it's the Jewish bit is the same. I didn't think she was Jewish, but I thought there was a connection there. Oh, some things I can take, some things I'm not sure. I have a Star of David ring,
David ring.
rather the
Right.
necklace. Right, brilliant. This is clearing up. I do feel that this lady, there is a saying from where I come, oh, don't be Jewish, meaning tight. This lady was not tight. And I think that's the bit she was getting. It was about sharing, but just not sharing everything I have, but sharing my experiences too. So there was all of this. And going back to this beautiful jewelry box, I know she would have been a fan of costume jewelry, because I see quite a few pieces of little costume jewelry there. And at that time may have not been worth anything, but I hear in my mind now, but they're worth something now. It's always worth keeping these things here. Okay.
Mm.
So she was, I know she was a beautiful soul. I know that she was um, a big influence on you, on your life here. And I know that she was a very proud lady and very, very proud of you. And she knows that you are trying very hard to keep those traditions, to try and keep that family strength and keeping the family going in a straight and narrow fashion, just like she would have done too. I also think she loved Battenberg cake. I'm not a fan of that myself, so I'm not jealous on that bit. But thank you very much.
Oh, do you know what, Caitlin? I also feel that the last thing she wants to say here is you've got to keep your own counsel on a
Mm.
situation, because I felt like because I feel that she was very much like that. You've got on a situation that's around you at the moment, you've got to keep your own counsel, and I feel that's what she did. And she's Caitlin's just said no, she wasn't the type, the most generous
No.
person I knew.
And
Absolutely.
that was what
Uh,
she wanted to get
yeah,
across. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I just feel she wants you to keep your own counsel, and I do feel she would watch and she would listen, and then
Ah,
yeah, she would watch, and she would listen, and this is what she's asking you to do, because I think the first thing I said was she's watching, she's listening, she's standing back, she's sort of keeping her own counsel. So I feel that she's passing that on to you. That's what you've got to do in a situation around you at the moment. So we're coming to time now, so take her love. And I hope that makes sense for you. So,
and
well, there you go.
keep the traditions no matter
Yes,
how small. Yeah.
abs
And I think that
yeah,
goes for one and all here.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, we've come to the end of our morning, Chris. You know,
We
it goes
have.
so quick when you're
And
having fun.
it certainly does. And then, so for these next 2 weeks, you will be holding the flag high while I'm away. Please try not to ruin
Yes.
the show, Karen, while I'm away.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. No, I think we're going to have some guests lined up. So keep tuned, because I'm going to have some more people to nag, and we'll have some more banter and some more lots of information and reading. So I just hope, Chris, we're sending you lots of healing and for a speedy recovery. And we look forward to seeing you back in a couple of weeks. But thank you all for being part of this morning. And also, don't forget, we've got Deb Clark tonight at 7 o'clock. There's Emily Baker on Thursday at 7 o'clock. And Claire's show is moving from, it's not on this Wednesday, but it will be moving to next Monday. So stay tuned, because Richard keeps us all posted with everything that's going on in SPTV world. So it's been our pleasure to be with you this morning, and I hope that you've
Absolutely.
enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been absolutely fantastic. So you all stay well, enjoy the rest of your week, no matter what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you again next Monday. But our Chris has got to go to hospital, and we're sending him on his way with our love and healing hugs.
Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. And I'm sure I'll feel it all uh, with me all the time. So good luck. I will see you in a couple of weeks. And if you can't be good, be careful. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.